Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today is go for a walk and talk on this most beautiful Sydney winter's day, where we have a beautiful blue sky, bright sunshine, a little bit of a breeze just to keep things moving, an opportunity to share some time and go on a journey where we can hopefully become partners in each other's growth and development. What I'd love to do today is go through a book entitled Hearticulations, a book that was published on the 15th of November 2020 by an author named Jeff Brown. This book by Jeff Brown speaks to a yearning to hear something raw, unfiltered and soulful. It's not your typical self-help book or a linear narrative. It's a poetic, soulful unraveling of what it means to be human, to be heart-led, and to live with emotional integrity in a world that often numbs, distracts, or rushes past inner life. Brown coined the word articulation to mean the articulation of the heart. These short prose pieces aren't just reflections, they're calls to consciousness, encouraging readers to come home to their own bodies, their own stories, and their own truths. If you're seeking meaning in your suffering, depth in your relationships, and truth in your healing, this book speaks directly to your soul. The first key message to come from this book is where we look at healing that requires what the author says, embodiment, not escape. Jeff Brown insists that true healing isn't about transcending the human experience. It's more about diving into it. You can't heal emotional wounds through bypassing, over-spiritualization, or avoidance. Healing begins, according to this author, when you return to your body, your feelings, and your unprocessed pain, because emotional honesty is indeed sacred. This book emphasizes the power of telling the truth, especially the emotional truth. Whether it's about grief, anger, love, or longing, Brown urges us to articulate what's in our hearts without shame and without apology, because suppression is what causes suffering. Expression creates the necessary space for necessary healing. Love without boundaries isn't all that sacred, is another key message that comes from this book. Contrary to the idea of unconditional love as total selflessness, Brown emphasizes the importance of boundaried love. Loving someone doesn't mean tolerating disrespect, betrayal, or emotional harm. Real love, according to the author, includes mutual respect, clarity, and a willingness to honour your own needs and limits. And another interesting message that comes from this book is where we look at spirituality not as a detour from one's humanity. Brown challenges spiritual bypassing, which is the tendency to use spiritual ideas and concepts to avoid real life pain. He calls for a grounded spirituality that honors your messy, flawed, and fully embodied human self. It's not about escaping life, it's about embracing it a little bit more fully. The author goes on to talk about friendships and how friendship is a sacred mirror. True friendship, according to Brown, is not just comfort, it's a container for telling truth. Real friends, according to the author, real friendship is not just comfort, it's a container for truth telling. Real friends help each other grow, face their shadows, and stand in their truth. Superficial companionships cannot nourish the soul. We must cultivate soul friendships rooted in depth and shared vulnerability, is the message. The author goes on to also mention that your feelings are not inconvenient. In a world that often labels feelings as too much or irrational, Brown's writing fiercely validates them. Your emotional responses are not flaws, they are compasses pointing you toward unmet needs, past wounds, and what the author mentions and calls the deeper truths. He urges us to listen to what our emotions are trying to say instead of judging or silencing them. Your wounds end up becoming your teachers if you allow them to be. Rather than seeking emotional pain as something to try and fix, Brown invites us to see it as a powerful teacher. Each heartbreak, abandonment, or betrayal carries a valuable lesson to those willing to learn. Those lessons are about boundaries, worthiness, intuition, or courage. When we stop resisting our wounds, we can begin to make them a foundation of wisdom. Another key message that comes from this author is the fact that being seen is a human need, not a weakness. So many of us are starved of being truly seen, not for our performance, productivity, or perfection, but simply for our essence. Brown reminds us that longing to be witnessed in our rawness is not needy or broken. It's deeply human, and we must stop shaming ourselves for this important particular need. When it's all said and done, we are the authors of our own narrative. Jeff Brown emphasizes the power of self-authorship. Don't live a story someone else wrote for you. Don't shrink to fit in or silence your voice to keep the peace. Your life must reflect your values, your truths, and your inner knowing. Healing begins when we reclaim the pen and rewrite the narrative. And the last key point is that the journey to wholeness is ongoing. There is no final destination in healing or love. There are only moments of clarity, moments of connection, and moments of coming home to yourself. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where once again we've hit it out of the park with another fantastic book with a huge number of learnings. Take care, wishing you all the best, and bye for now.